Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
I hit my head so hard yesterday, and I'm glad a lot of people didn't see it. In fact, Kirby's the only one who witnessed it, and I thought about giving her $100.
Witnessed it. I haven't stopped thinking about that sound.
The sound. Yeah, well, she was like, that was your head. So we were at the Teddy Bear's picnic at Assiniboine Park. And we're about to go on stage. We'd been waiting by the stage to go up and do the opening remarks, get the event going. We had already been serving pancakes and everything else. And there was like an aluminum sliding door that goes up and down.
Oh.
And I thought it was all the way up. And I don't know if it was an optical illusion or I'm just an idiot.
And you gave it a full on.
I walked hard.
Like into it.
I walked with Kirby purpose, and it made a noise. You heard it. And I swear I should have probably gone into concussion protocol at that moment.
I tried to get a doctor, but they were too busy with all the teddy bears and the kids. Nobody was available.
They were patching up the bears instead of patching up Phil's head.
Man.
I'm honestly surprised you don't have a goose egg or a mark.
Easier to jump up on a stage. Did you find the jumping down, eh?
No, it wasn't.
You were just walking the steps.
We were up the steps already. The sliding door was on the stage as I went to walk through, and bang. And I don't know how I missed it.
Oh. And you played it pretty cool because you know when you hurt yourself, yourself when like you are in utter pain, but like you're around a bunch of people, so you don't want to actually like give in to the fact that you're in that pain.
Oh yeah.
So you're just like, oh yeah, that was terrible. And meanwhile you're just crying inside.
It hurt bad, but you gotta suck that one up. It's an embarrassing moment, but it's like when you slip on ice and you jump right up and put your hands in the air. You're in pain, but you've got to play it off. And then I realized Kirby had heard the bang, and I'm that never happened. Please please tell me nobody saw that.
It held the show back about an hour and a half, though. I'll tell you that much. Get you back on your feet.
But no gash. I was lucky for that.
Yeah.
There was no gash. And I got to tell you, Joe, you are great at flipping pancakes. Like you jumped right in there, had the apron on. It was fantastic.
I'll tell you, those chefs from IHOP, they had their work cut out for them. There was a lineup like nobody's business. And all of a sudden, Goombas like us are standing there and they got to teach us. Now they got a whole education system on going. Yeah. Okay, you wait for this one to bubble. You have to scrape under a little bit gently and give it a flip. Well, the guy flipped about 18 of them to my one. Yeah. So it's like, okay, thank you very much. And then they kind of just push it to the side a little bit. And it becomes a spectator sport.
They gracefully shuffle you out of the way pretty quick.
Well, Joe is like itching to get back in there, though, because like when I showed up, he was just like ready to. He's like, "You need me in there?" And they're like, "No, we need less people in there."
I put on my rubber gloves like I was a surgeon.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Call the Bone phone 780-BONE. Brought to you by Auto Gallery of Winnipeg.
How about them Bombers? From the basement to the penthouse. Yeah, baby. Go Bombers, go. Your average dick. Tuning in.
Thanks, your average dick. Yeah, waking up Monday morning and the Bombers have just completed a sweep of the Riders. It doesn't get much better than that.
I have never, ever seen those concourses as full as Saturday, and we've been to our share of banjo bowls, but man, you couldn't move at some points. It took about 25 minutes to get around one corner to, let's say, the 50-yard line.
Yeah, and because of that, we didn't leave the Pinnacle Lounge very often, and a few people were beaking us. But once you get in the Pinnacle Lounge, you start yapping with people. The games are on in there, and next thing you know, it's the fourth quarter. And it's like, whoa, we haven't even left it. That's how fun the Banjo Bowl is.
It's not our fault. They were handing out free bags of popcorn, okay? Like, you can't leave.
Well, that gets you every time.
Oh, my God.
It really was Manitoba's biggest party.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It was so fun. Yeah, go Blue. And now they're off. They got to buy like the wonky CFL schedule.
You know what? That's good for the fan base.
Yeah.
We could use a week off after that game.
This guy, angry in traffic. I don't even know what it's about other than he's mad in traffic.
Yeah, this is for the f***ing knob in the black Ford Edge who decided to cut off the big black van, Portage Avenue and White Wolf, in the middle of the f***ing intersection because somebody decided they were making a right-hand turn. You are so f***ing lucky I was able to hit the brakes in time and not plow into you, you dumb f***ing ass.
Okay. Take it easy out there. Take it easy.
Wow.
Big N wants to check in with some conversation that he had while hanging out with some family over the weekend regarding names.
Morning, everybody. Beautiful Sunday morning. Me and the wife on Saturday went for a round of golf, and then afterwards I had to go to my cousin's house. So we're sitting around on the deck there, having a good old time, having a beer, talking. And I mentioned about how some couples, their names together, it's either the man or the woman or vice versa that rolls off the tongue better. So that's the way you always refer to them. And that brought up the next subject was I said about how there are a few people in my life that I know that don't go by their first name. They actually go by their second name. Then all of a sudden my cousin says that her husband, who I've known for a long time, isn't actually named Blaine. His name's Louis. I'm like, okay. And she says, and my son Cole is actually Nathaniel. Okay. Then my aunt across the table says, I'm not actually Gail, I'm Barbara. Okay, mine's getting blown here. Do a lot of people run into this kind of thing? Like, I don't know how common it is, but whoa, I was thrown for a loop. Anyways, have a good day, everyone. Rock on, Big N out.
My dad's one of those people.
It goes by his second name, his middle name.
I think, in high school when I found out my dad's real first name is Paul.
Not
Howard.
Howard, yeah, okay.
But he goes by Howard because I guess Paul, when he was a kid, he just didn't like it.
So that was his choice. My brother-in-law, his whole family
does that.
First name, middle name, last name, and they all were called by their middle name.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
I wasn't given that option growing up. Like, hey, Phil, you want to go by your middle name? You can if you want. I like James as a name.
I got to be honest, Big N, though, like, he was very passionate about the whole topic. Like, I mean, I think you got to give Aunt Louise. Was it Aunt Louise?
Yeah.
I don't know. And, hey, Cousin Blaine, I kind of like Louis. Louis pretty good.
Yeah, man, yeah. And Gail. Don't forget about Gail.
Gail, yeah.
Right.
Gail. Okay, question. Back to the roads here.
Hey there, this is Silly Cyan, and I just have one question. When I'm driving and I'm out there working my ass off to be a proper driver, and I look over and half the cars beside me don't know what the hell they're doing, I'm just wondering, because I worked quite a few years to get my license, I'm doing it properly. Where did they get theirs?
Yeah, I think we all have that thought in traffic. Like, what the hell? Like, how did you get a license? That is at least once, if you have a good 15, 20-minute drive, once during that drive, that thought is entering your mind.
My theory to that is that they just had, like, you know how, like, well, we all took the driver's test to get our licenses, but I just assume that maybe that person had, like, a surprisingly good day of driving when they took that exam.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then the rest of their
And
skill
got
set
lucky.
just isn't there.
All downhill from there.
Okay, guilty. And there's a Kirby. This is good news for you. What guilty will do for a squirrel.
All right. Just having a friggin' awesome, why am I not swearing? Just having a awesome little date at the end of the day with wife. I've been giving her, right? I get up early, like you boys and girls. Anyway, we're coming down Winnipeg Beach. We just went and shot a couple of games of pool, and I got my ass kicked by wife. Can't say her name anymore. Long story short is a squirrel comes running across the highway, and I swerve for squirrels. Okay? Kirby? Wife smokes her elbow into the corner of the thing. She got a bone bruise now because I swerved for the squirrel. Who wins here? There's no justice.
Mm-hmm.
I think the squirrel is the real winner in that scenario.
Well,
like
it's
it.
not his wife because he can't call her by the name anymore.
Yeah.
He's censored.
Yeah, she told him to stop using her name. Doesn't want to be associated with good old guilty. Okay, who can blame her? Let's wrap up with this one here. This is Lisa, and she's, I believe, commenting on a couple of things that came up last week. Well, for sure, the shopping carts, the shopping cart politics at a grocery store, and then something about debit cards anyway.
That's the funniest thing I ever heard. The guy was pissed off about the numbers getting stolen, and the other guy with the shopping cart problem. That happens to me every time I go shopping. And when I use my debit card, I'm like, does it work? I almost got run over by a semi-truck, and I had to take x-rays on my back.
Wow.
Wait, there's a lot to unpack at the end there.
Always. This is
She referred to Hooligan's call about getting his house number stolen.
Yes.
And then, of course, it was about the shopping cart at Costco that people taking up the whole lane. And she says it happens to her all the time. But where the semi came from, like out of
had to
nowhere.
get X-rays on her back.
Oh.
Like what?
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
forgive me if I missed this, Joe, but did you read that text on the Boston Pizza text line in your traffic from street sweeper Bruce?
No, I didn't see it come up on. Oh, here we go.
Probably came up after you were done your traffic already.
They're doing some milling work on Maryland Bridge today, southbound. So expect delays. I'll tell you what, street sweeper Bruce has been giving us a heads up every time they are doing some road work. So thank you very much. Maryland Bridge, that'll be a problem today. So that's southbound, expecting delays. Thanks. Sweet Sweeper. I call him SSB.
Yeah,
it's a little
you
easier
do.
to say than Street Sweeper Bruce every
That's
time.
what his good friends call him, for sure. Thank you, SSB. Milling is neat because you can mill flour, too, can't you?
Yeah, you can buy milled weed.
Yeah, I only milled weed. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you can buy it
Way to go. Way to
Pre
go with
busted up.
the flour. That's the gateway, flour. Milling flour.
gateway.
I won't buy anything but milled flour. Like it's
Oh.
when it's a day of baking.
It's a difference maker, Kirby.
I didn't know this about you, Phil.
I'll tell you what, he told this story. He told this story to the chefs yesterday at the Teddy Bears picnic for pancakes, and nobody cared.
Nobody
The
cares.
most random thing I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
They quickly moved me over to serving the pancakes.
Yeah, as soon as they heard
I
that.
could see you better suited for the serving portion of things.
And even there, I was talking too much for the girls. They moved me out of there too, because I'm chatting with the kids and everybody who's coming up for their pancakes. There's a line. There's a massive line. They don't have,
that line was like
yeah.
crazy.
They don't have time for talking, chatting.
No.
Quick hello, here's your
And
pancake.
yes, then they grab a drink, and then,
You were more of a liability.
Then we tried to move him into just kind of a security role just to keep the line moving. And then he started to talk to people in line. So all of a sudden they moved him to the stage. And what did he do? Bonked his head on a door.
What's the deal?
And we couldn't even get him any medical attention because all the doctors were dealing with teddy bears and kids.
But I was talking a lot about milled flour, so it was a good day. Yeah, very good.
I'm sure everybody in line really enjoyed that chat.
I'll tell you what, when Mayor Gillingham stepped up there, he seemed at least interested.
In the milled flour?
He did.
He was a good faker, though.
I
He
think
was
so.
pretending.
I think so.
That he is great.
I asked him to look at my head, too. Do I have a
He
bruise
did.
here? Mayor, can
He
you
said,
have
I'm not a
look?"
doctor, so it doesn't matter. Take a look.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Exciting times around here with PJK on 92.1 City. A week today, we'll be loading up Joe's SUV, packing up some snacks for the road.
Well, not
trail
many.
mix.
How many You're going for lunch. I'm
still
not
got-
going to ruin my lunch.
Okay, coffee then. We gotta make
You
a
can have a
coffee
coffee.
stop on the way out of town.
You can have a snack, but I just don't want you to fill your stomach for the experience. And Kirby, if you're bringing vegetables, nothing too loud. I got to have my music loud. I don't want to hear the snapping of peas or carrots in the back,
I'll
of the
just
car
pack
or the
the
front.
stuff that smells like cauliflower.
No,
Yeah,
that's
no,
not
no.
happening. If it smells bad,
Oh, man.
you can go in your own vehicle. I'm just being honest. I don't want my car to smell.
The thought of road tripping next week with you two is because we've been in the same vehicle before. We've gone to Toronto together. We've done some traveling.
Yeah.
We're in the same room every day to Kirby together.
Yeah, I know, but it's different when you're on a vehicle hitting the highway.
Okay.
We will be on our way to Moosomin, Saskatchewan, to the Red Barn,
It's
restaurant.
happening. We said we were going to do it.
And we're doing it.
What else is there in Moosomin? Can we do other
I
things?
told you, there's a Dairy Queen.
There is. So we're gonna get some ice cream on the way out of town.
Well, it depends.
Come on, we're gonna get
I've
blizzards.
had a lactose issue lately. I don't think I want to spend 3 hours in a car with you two on the way home alone.
Have you guys poured over the menu yet at the Red
No.
Barn? By the way, how did this come up? I can't refresh
This
my memory.
came up because I had a story in the news about how Moosomin, Saskatchewan was encouraging people in surrounding areas to move to their town, and they were giving people who were going to build houses $20,000 incentive to do so.
There's a home builder incentive, yeah. And I had said to you, I've been through there a few times, and I love stopping in at the Dairy Queen. And somebody on the Boston Pizza text line said, next time through, you guys have to check out the Red Barn. And I said, I see it every time I drove through. I went west this summer, and I did say to myself once, why am I not stopping here? It looks like a good town restaurant, and everybody, there was not one bad review we got.
No,
right?
everybody.
I don't recall anybody.
Ever since it came up, you're bang on, Joe. We've been getting text messages saying you've got to go.
Okay.
It's excellent. It's a family restaurant.
So I don't know if you guys want to do this today or save it for Monday, but we should get food suggestions on what we should have when we go. But I think Monday would be the better day to do it because then it's fresh in my head when I'm driving. Or do you want to know it today?
I already know what I'm getting. I've looked.
You
at the
already
menu.
know, Kirby. Do you know?
Phil's that type. No, I like the experience of going to the restaurant, looking at the menu for the very first time there.
I
No,
agree with you on that, but you
take
cannot
forever.
do this to us
Yeah.
again.
What do you mean? What?
When
You
we went
took
to 529 with the manager, management team,
Oh, you had the managers
we waited
out there.
25 minutes.
Well, not
and you ordered a
everybody
salad.
pre-scouts out their meal online beforehand.
Well, it's a steakhouse.
At least read the menu once you get there
Yeah.
because it took forever. The guy came back 3 times. There's 2 salads on the menu. We all knew. We already had the steak presentation. We knew what we wanted.
Yeah.
And the bosses were kind of going like, really? Like, how many times does this guy got to come back before we order? So maybe have a brief look at it. Just see what kind of...
Okay.
It's a 3-hour car ride.
I'll start looking when we leave the city.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to, just to be safe, you can look at your phone at the menu. I'm bringing you a printed copy of the menu.
Yeah, print it off for it. Do it. No, you guys know I'm getting the hot hamburger platter. I've been eyeing this up for a few weeks now.
So it's
hot hamburger.
Yeah. So you're basically talking about it's not a full burger. It's like an open-faced beef patty.
2 grilled patties.
It's the gravy you want. I know.
Topped with fried onions, gravy.
Oh, my God.
Choice of side dish, coleslaw, and a dinner roll.
You know what? Just as a rib, I'd like you to eat that in the vehicle with the windows closed. It'll drive Kirby crazy. But I'm not letting you eat that in my car.
No, and you're not taking home anything either.
Yes, I am. If I don't
Wait
eat both...
a second.
If
Well,
I
who's
don't eat...
decided?
Why can't I have my stinky cauliflower as a snack on the way there, but I have to smell your guys'
You know why?
leftover hot hamburger sandwich in the back of the vehicle?
You know why?
What the hell?
No, I'm going to tell you why. Because you said it's stinky cauliflower. There's no word about stinky hamburger sandwich.
That's up for discretion.
Hickory smoked ribs. We'll be eating those on the way home.
Oh, good. Just wipe your hands on the interior.
Philly, Joe, Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
I want to say this. PJK Extra. We talked a lot on the by the way, thanks to Melissa for the cookies.
Yeah, I haven't
That's
had one
where
yet.
I got them from.
Well, I better have one. She asked how they
With
were.
the
I didn't
Cat
want to tell her the
Expo.
truth. And
They're
say,
crummy. They're
Hold
crummy.
on. You had one?
Yeah, they're good.
I've had like 3.
They're crummy. You mean crummy as in
No, like good.
like they
They're-
break down?
They
They
just
break,
crumble.
yeah, not crummy
Yeah.
as in bad, but they
crumble.
They crumble because homemade. That happens, but they're
I'm good.
delicious.
I have a whole bag.
Here, Phil, you can
Yeah.
finish the rest.
Okay,
I just
thank
need
you
one.
very
If
much.
people actually knew when they see the two of us together like a banjo bowl that he eats 10 times the amount of food I do. If they only knew it, they look at me and they think, this poor guy next to him must never eat. And it's the other way around.
Phil's got good metabolism.
Yeah, I'm like a Komodo dragon. I
Okay.
see it, I eat it.
Let's get this over with right now. You went to a cat expo.
Yeah, we've been hearing about
and
this.
listen, I had a cat when I was
Yeah.
okay. I had a cat. I loved my cat. I don't necessarily like other people's cats because they're different, but I love my cat.
I
But
love all cats.
I would never go to an expo. I don't even know what that is.
Well, it was like it was at a community center, and there was a bunch of different like vendors, that, like people who make crafts and stuff.
For cats. Everything was for cats.
Well, or that had a cat involved in it. Like there was a lady who made blankets, but you could get cat blankets made. But then they also had celebrity cats.
Oh.
Like, you know how people go to Comic-Con to meet like their favorite maybe action person? Okay, that was like this, but for like local celebrity cats. And there's a cat that I follow on Instagram, and I got to meet him in person yesterday.
So it's sort of like Comic-Con,
Yes.
but these cats are local.
Yeah, local
celebrities.
Local celebrity cats.
Wow, how did
that
they
are
rein
big
them
on
all in for this
Instagram.
big show?
Oh, I'll tell you the logistics that must have gone into planning the cat expo.
I'm going to be honest, I felt bad for them because they looked a little stressed. Like there's a lot of people. It was very loud.
Some of them don't like being on display like that.
Well, you imagine all the excitement of the people when they saw, hey, fill in the blank. Local celebrity cat is here today.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty excited.
Yes.
Can I quickly ask too, because we were talking about the Red Barn restaurant a lot on the most recent show, and our trip, which is coming up in a week, to Moosomin, to the Red Barn restaurant, road trip, morning show road trip. We talked about, food, snacks in the vehicle, how many pee breaks we're going to take, music. Who decides? Do you want me to bring my big briefcase full of CDs, Joe? Like, how are we deciding on the
He
music?
probably doesn't even have a CD player.
Yeah, you're right, Kirby. This vehicle doesn't have one. You can bring it if you want.
Put the CD in. It's great.
Usually the person driving is in charge of the playlist, I believe, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Put big shiny tunes in. It's in my briefcase.
I've got
of
a
CDs.
bunch of power ballads I put together for 8 hours, listening to sad songs.
Okay, so you'll take care of the music then
Yeah,
for us. Okay,
yeah.
good. That's
And we can all sing along.
We've got 92.1 programmed right in there in the number one slot. What
That's
more do you
true.
need?
Can we get that all the way to Moosomin? It's a 3.5 hour drive. We were a little surprised by how long of a drive it is.
Yeah, we
might
committed
not.
before we realized.
Kirby was suggesting a sing-along, and I already ixnayed that.
I'm basically told just to shut up and sit in the back seat.
No.
That never happened. Don't rewrite history.
Don't misunderstand when I said to you that I was going to call one of the cab companies and see if I can get those safety shields put in between the front and the back. It has nothing to do with you, Kirby.
Can't hear you through the shield, Curbs. That's PJK Extra.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
The Moosomin Co-op Aquaplex.
What?
Pool parties, 2 hours of private pool time with access to our barbecue and party area. Well, we're already going to, I guess we're eating twice.
I got to
Going
wait.
swimming?
No, I'm going to have to wait an hour. That's what my mom would tell me.
Maximum 15 people has $100.
Oh.
16 to 30 people, $125. 31 people, $175. Add-ons. Giant inflatable water slide, $100. Bouncy toys are $100.
You know what? Not doing it.
Access to their hot tubs, 50 bones.
That's a lot of money for three of us to go when we're just going for lunch. I tell you where we are going. Forget the water park. I'm taking you to a watering hole. This came in on the Boston Pizza text line. My sister's from Moosomin. You'll love the Red Barn. And just before you get there, I remember seeing the sign. Haven't stopped there before. Tiny town called Fleming. And their hometown bar is a place you have to stop in to check it out. I'm just debating if I need a drink before I have lunch or after. Maybe one. I'll have one.
So we're going to go to Fleming on the way?
Yeah, I'll have one drink.
Can I get, I'm not driving, so can I get,
Several?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
sure,
go
you
ahead.
can bring your credit card for a change. You can have as many as you want. Well, what do you want?
Daryl in my DMs also would like me to know not to get the chicken Caesar salad, obviously without the chicken, but they at the Red Barn they put taco seasoning on their Caesar salad, and he said it's just a little bit unique, so just be a little bit heads up on the Caesar salad. So that takes that off the menu for
So
me.
are we not swimming? I got to know whether to bring my trunks.
I'd rather not. I'm packing late for this trip. It's
I'll just wear my trunks and then wear them in the... They'll be wet, but I'll put a towel down in the back of your SUV.
Yes.
That's gonna help.
Because I want to sit in a vehicle that smells like leftover ribs and chlorine from our swimming adventure in Moosomin.
I'll tell you right now.
Wow.
He's going to have to change. He's going to have to change. There's nothing worse than a guy sitting in wet trunks. It does nothing. It'll
For
do
a
nothing.
3-hour drive.
Well, I'm more worried about him. I'm not bringing talcum powder.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Boston Pizza text line, somebody's talking about jeans because it came up a few minutes ago, or actually before 8 o'clock, with completely useless trivia.
Right.
Joe, you had said you heard that, you don't need to wash your jeans more than, a couple times a year?
Yeah, that's what a buddy of mine who used to work in a clothing store was told by the management team, that I guess from head office that you can tell people they shouldn't be washing their jeans more than once or twice a year.
So on the text line, someone says they're talking about proper denim, 100% cotton jeans, not like stretch half polyester jeans.
Like the newer jeans now that have that stretch to them.
Yeah, because I was gonna say some of my my skinny jeans that are up in there and quite tight. I don't think I would wear those more than once without washing them. You know,
it's a sanitary issue. Like,
they're up in your nether regions.
Well, for guys and girls, they're just it's you got to wash them. Like if you sweat at any point throughout a day, and I'm not talking like gushing sweat. I just mean like I'll go 2-3 wears on a pair of jeans. But then they've got to be washed at that point. They lose their shape, and it's got to happen.
How about just ass is ass?
Yeah.
And they got to be washed.
You got to wash your ass?
No, you got to wash your jeans because they're wrapped around your ass.
Yes. But I guarantee you, every time this comes up, there'll be people on the text line who are like, once a month.
Women are the same with bras. I will say that. There's a lot of my girlfriends and I that we were like, we don't judge each other, but it's like, oh my God, you don't wash your bra like until you wear it like 5 times.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just, for me, it's like, man, that's like a pretty intimate undergarment that's right near your armpits. So I wash mine all the time.
I can't see the comparison, to be honest. Like for me, you know what I mean? Like a bra, because they're different material. And jeans to me are just jeans. And they're just that material. Like they're not light enough that I think I could go more than like a couple of wears before I end up either washing them or in some cases, depending on the price, because the price of jeans for some pairs now, like they're in the hundreds of dollars.
What about your jean jacket, Joe? How often do you watch that?
I haven't since the 80s. Doesn't fit. I don't have to get it dry cleaned anymore or washed.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
So we've been yucking it up this morning about the Red Barn restaurant in Moosomin, how we're going on a road trip.
I might stop in at Fleming.
I might go to Fleming on the way.
For the bar, the Windsor Bar, I believe it's called.
A week today, we're going to hop in Joe's vehicle and go, and we're excited about this. But the one thing I want to know, Joe, and look, beyond yucking it up, I get the sense, and it's okay if you're like this, because I need to adopt this rule in my vehicle, no eating in your vehicle. Or
depends what you're eating.
Right. But I certainly, it seems to me that I'm not eating, like if I get a beef dip at the Red Barn, I'm not eating the rest of it on the way home with that au jus in the middle console. Yeah. You're not allowing that.
If you have to eat a liquid, it's not happening in my car.
Why? It's leather. You can just wipe it off.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Would you like to drive? I'd love to sit in your car and eat liquid.
He doesn't want au jus between the seats. That smell never goes away.
It's called no jus.
No jus.
So basically, we could probably have some travel food. Could I get a bag of chips?
Oh,
How many times are we allowed to stop to go to the bathroom on the way there?
None is the answer to that question. It's a 2.5 to 3 hour drive. That should be good enough.
I'm bringing piss jugs.
I am not going to the washroom in a jug. Well, and I'm not peeing on the side of the road.
Figure it out. I don't know.
Well, you're absolutely right. You're not.
I'm telling you. What if I have to go to the washroom?
How many stops would you normally have to make in a 3-hour trip?
We're leaving here. So 3 hours from Osborne Village. You pee here, and then you pee at the Red Barn or Fleming, wherever we stop.
Well, I just won't drink anything on the way there then. Because that's the thing that happens to me. Is that like I'll get a coffee or I'll get like a bottle of water and then I'll have to
90 minutes. That's not bad, Joe. If we have to stop
90 minutes.
90 minutes in, but no,
like 25 minutes outside the city.
No.
I'll tell you right now, if you have to go within an hour and a half, you're side of the road.
You're gonna pick me up at least on your way back?
Yeah, on the way back, catch you on the other side of the highway.
Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
We do the Bone Phone daily at 6:20 and 8:20, of course. You can always catch it on the podcast as well, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. 30 minutes of the show, plus the PJK Extra. But there's a call here from the Hooligan that we didn't get to this morning. It's from, I want to say, a week and a half ago or so. Like the Hooligan, he's like guilty. There's 3 or 4 calls at any given time from them. And I don't get to all of them. We don't get to all of them.
We almost had to put him under no fixed address because somebody had stolen the numbers on his house.
That's right. And this one here is almost 2 minutes long. So I just want to play it for you guys now because I do think there's some interesting information in here. The Hooligan.
Good morning, everybody. Kirby, the story's for you. So, Kirby, I think it was last week you made a comment about, because I say about my truck's dirty, I have to wash it. he said something like, I never known a guy to clean his truck soft, something like that. Well, so last Friday, washed it, and then I wax it every year by hand. So then last Friday, that I spent just over 2 hours waxing it, nice and shiny, more than it usually is. And then I, sent a picture to my buddy. And he said, it's going to rain tomorrow. I mean, it's Saturday. That's what he's talking about. I checked the weather yesterday. So I go on the weather app, and it's saying like 10, 20%. That's up. Now, 20%, it's not going to rain. So Saturday, leave the house at 6 a.m., raining. I got in the garage, I just yelled the biggest I could. Like, seriously, can't you get 1 day of it staying clean? Like, when does it ever rain at 20%? So I get to work, back up into my spot, and what happens? Birds on it. Like, honestly. But it's okay, everybody, because I keep a bottle of water in my truck with some shop towels just for that reason, because there's always birds flying around and on my truck. But also, Kirby, I heard you mention, I think a couple years ago, you wish you had a guy friend who would help you out with your vehicle and this and that. You want an oil change? You come see me. I change 5 of my friends' oils throughout the year, all the time. Even give them, pointers on how to keep their. But a lot of these my friends just don't give a shit. They drive, gas and drive. That's it. But you got to pay for your parts, of course. I don't charge labor.
Hooligan,
Did you hear that?
Yeah, but I'm gonna help Hooligan. Don't do this. Don't, because you're gonna now all of a sudden you think it sounds harmless. You're changing Kirby's oil. No. Every time there's low pressure in one of her tires, every time, like, you'll get calls and messages over the smallest things to do with your vehicle. You don't want to become, and I'm sorry, Kirbs, but I'm just trying to help your relationship with the Hooligan.
Yeah.
You don't want to become Kirby's car guy.
I don't have a car guy.
But I don't think this would work. I'm worried about it.
I'm worried about the pointers that he hands out while doing the oil change. Because I'm telling you, my dad gave me a lot of those pointers growing up. And I'll tell you, they went in one ear and went right out the other.
Hooligan, I've never said this before because we don't always have to agree, right, with comments. He bit off more than he could chew on this one. It's true. You don't. No, I think Phil's right. I think we have to be Switzerland here. This has to stay. Yeah. I think you have to stay apart in this one.
You know what? Take the time that you would take 2 hours waxing your vehicle and enjoy that instead of having to change my oil.
Yeah, so you're admitting to that it's probably not a good idea for him to become your, quote, car guy.
Because then we're going to have to hear about it. It's like, now I hear from Kirby all the time, and I started with an oil change, and now I, pretty much am responsible for this and that.
So that's pretty much what Phil said.
Yeah.
You're not just a maintenance package.
I come with a lot of needs.
That's a high maintenance package, and he doesn't charge for labor. Like,
you better.
I'll tell you what, that home garage of his doesn't come with benefits. There's no therapy. There's none of that.
Man. Yeah. Okay, we can all agree it's a no-go.
I appreciate it.
We'll see what his response is.
See if he'll send you a roll of those shop towels, though. That sounds like a good idea for inside the car.
For more Philly Joe and Kirby, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.